Welcome back to the channel. I am yours truly, and today I want to start my series of season predictions that I'm going to do from now until the season kicks off here in about roughly a month or roughly about 2 months from now. And today I want to get started with Michigan. Well, why you ask Michigan? I'm asking the same thing myself. I just decided to randomly pick Michigan to start the series off with, and other than that, let's get into it. As we take a look at Michigan's summary for the season, last year they went 13-1, won the Big Ten, and they lost in the CFP semifinals to TCU in a game that they should have won, but they end up dropping that game to TCU. Now we look at what the Vegas odds are, basically what the betting public is thinking what Michigan's going to do for 2023, and they're saying that the over/under win tunnel is going to be 10.5. What that means is that if you want, you get two options. You either bet that Michigan's going to win 11 or more games, and if that's the case, you would win the over amount if you bet the over. Now, if you bet the under, you're basically saying that Michigan's going to go 10-2 or worse. The .5 is the Vegas number. It's so that it doesn't end up in a push far as the bet. Now, the 2023 national title odds, those odds are plus 900, which are pretty good odds for a team this year. What that means is, say you put down the whole odds thing is based off of $100 bets. So if you put down $100 saying that Michigan's going to win the national title, you're going to win $900 and your bet money back. And the 2023 Big Ten title odds, they're the favorites to win the Big Ten this year at plus 175. Like I said, if you bet 100 saying Michigan's going to win the Big Ten, you're going to get 175 back. Anyways, let's get to the schedule. As we take a look at Michigan's 2023 schedule this year, just like last year, they do not have any Power 5 non-con opponents, just like last year. And when I look at this schedule, initially it looks like one of the most backloaded schedules in the country, as they have a bunch of their easier games first half of the season and their tougher games in the second half of the season. So let's get into it. No, I'm not going to build up the drum roll. Let's keep it real here. I think Michigan's going to win their first three non-con games against East Carolina, UNLV, and Bowling Green. These are just like tune-up games for Michigan for their Big Ten conference slate. So Michigan opens up their Big Ten conference schedule with a home game to Rutgers, and while Rutgers has been vastly improved from their last coach, I don't think Michigan is going to lose to Rutgers, especially at home. So give me the win over Rutgers. Next up on Michigan's schedule is their first road trip of the season with a road game to Nebraska, and as much as I like Matt Rule and what he did at Baylor and way this game falls on the schedule, I don't think Michigan's going to lose this one, but I don't think they're going to blow out or Nebraska either, especially a road game to Lincoln, Nebraska for their first road game of the season. So give me the win over Nebraska on the road. The next game on Michigan's schedule is another road trip. This time they're going to Minnesota, and this Minnesota team is usually pretty quiet, so they might surprise Michigan on the road, being this is a rivalry game between these two teams. But as long as you can contain Minnesota's running game, I think Michigan can come out of Minneapolis with a win. So give me Michigan over Minnesota. Next game on the schedule for Michigan is a home game with Indiana after starting off the first half of their season undefeated at 6-0. And I'm gonna tell you, there's no drama with this one. I think Michigan's gonna blow out Indiana at home. Indiana is one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. If it wasn't for Northwestern, I would probably put Indiana as like the worst Big Ten team in the conference. So give me the win over Indiana. Now, this is the part of the schedule where it gets tougher for Michigan, starting off with a rivalry game with Michigan State. And this year, the rivalry game is, I believe, on the. Let me double. Yeah, it's on the road this year. So, while Michigan State and Michigan are on two separate ends of the spectrum, this is a rivalry game for both schools, and Michigan State has played Michigan very close before. However, you gotta kind of prove it to me. While Michigan State might be a little bit better this year, you kind of have to prove it to me that you can run with the big boys. So give me the win. Give me a Michigan win over Michigan State. Next game on the schedule is Purdue. They get Purdue out after a bye week. After Michigan plays Michigan State, they get a bye week to rest and recover before they play Purdue at home. While Purdue, I think, is a little bit of a sleeper team in the Big Ten, I don't think they have any business competing with Michigan, especially at home for Michigan. So, despite Purdue winning the Big Ten West last year, I just don't see them winning this game. So, give me Michigan at home against Purdue. And the next game on our list is probably their second most important game of the season. It is a road trip to Happy Valley to go face Penn State. They beat the brakes off of Penn State last year, but I imagine this game is going to be Penn State's whiteout game this year. It's going to be a hostile environment for Michigan, but I just think going my gut feeling right here in early July, I just think right now Michigan's going to be able to edge out in a close game to Penn State on the road and to remain unbeaten at 10-0. The next game on their Michigan schedule is a road trip to Maryland, and every team has a struggle game I like to call, or a team that they're not, or a game that they're not firing on all cylinders. And I I mean this is a classic case of a trap game because this game is right in between Penn State and Ohio State, and I think Michigan may get caught looking to ahead to Ohio State the next week after, just like they did last year to Illinois, and it almost costed them a game when they barely beat Illinois at home. Now this is a road game, and I'm not saying Maryland is a better team on paper than Michigan, and there's no. I'm not saying that at all. It was just I it's very hard for a team to go 12-0, and I think this is a game where Michigan may trip up and will trip up to Maryland. So give me a loss to Maryland. And the final game on the schedule, which is the biggest game of this schedule, is a home game with Ohio State. And last year it was a telling sign that Ohio State couldn't stop the run to save their lives, as the Michigan running offense was just ran it right down their throat, and Ohio State couldn't do anything about it. Now, Ohio State does return a lot of pieces on offense, including an NFL wide receiver room, but you Ohio State has a show me that they can stop the run this season, and based off the last couple of years, I have to give I have to make it a three in a row for Michigan. As let me get Michigan a win over Ohio State to end the season on 11-1. And that's it for the 2023 Michigan prediction or schedule prediction. Now, before I get burned at the stake by Michigan fans, I want to kind of explain something to me. The thing about schedule predictions is that it's easy to say Michigan's going to go 11-1. If I did that, then the video would be like 1 minute long. But the thing that I try to do is find that one loss. Who's that team Michigan's going to lose to? And I just feel that Maryland is the right opportunity. I guess you call it, for them to lose because it's sandwiched in between their two biggest games. And Michigan's going to be mentally focused on beating Penn State and Ohio State, and they may think, oh, Maryland's is going to be a pushover. I'm not saying Maryland is a better team than Michigan, but just the way it falls on the schedule, and they might fall into that trap game, and Michigan might have one of those struggle games against Maryland and lose to Maryland. Now, that one loss may not be to Maryland. That's the thing. They could easily beat Maryland and lose to Penn State, or beat Maryland and lose to Ohio State, or they could even lose to Michigan State. I know that sounds crazy to lose to Michigan State, but that's a rivalry game. Anything could happen in a rivalry game, and Michigan State has played Michigan fairly close. Maybe not in the past couple of years, but historically they have. So, anyways, let me know in the comments section if you want me to do any more season or schedule predictions for other teams. As always, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the video as we're trying to build the channel up. I appreciate any kind of new subscribers that come or any new likes to the channel. As always, like I said, thank you for watching the video.